Special guest here with us today from PANSOC, the Panther Special Operation Command. We will be discussing the recent events that transpired this week concerning the historically black college and university bomb threats that happened across the college campuses. There were approximately 14 historically black colleges and universities that received bomb threats. Thankfully, they were just threats and no one was harmed physically. However, there were other implications behind that that we will get into. And again, we do have special guests with us today, and we will be discussing the response or our response as a community to those threats and our show of solidarity, our concern, as well as our commitment to the youth in our communities. This was not the youth the first time that this has happened on our college campuses. Not even this week or on this our year. College campuses. So, not even this week or on I know it was in January. By the way, approximately 4 weeks ago, it was Howard University, North Carolina A&T, Xavier, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, Florida Memorial University, Prairie View, Spelman, which is where my daughter attends, as well as Texas Southern that received threats. And this happened in January. And so we fast forward to Tuesday, and there were threats at over a dozen. And those included the University of the District of Columbia, Howard, both were in D.C., Morgan State University, Coppin State University, Fort Valley State University, Kentucky State University, Xavier University of Louisiana, Edward Waters University, Alcorn State University, Mississippi Valley State University, Rust College, again, Spelman College, Jackson State University, and Tougaloo College. So from my count, that was 14 on Thursday. We had approximately 6 on Monday, and the ones that I quoted first totaled to about 8 on January 5th. And so those threats came about. They came in the wee hours of the morning. I believe the first one was time-stamped at 3:29 a.m., according to Howard University's records. And these threats were made via phone call, and the N-word was used. Law enforcement was called. As a result, law enforcement brought in bomb-sniffing dogs. The FBI was involved throughout this process, and they had already identified suspects or people of interest. And they stated that they did not see this as a viable threat, and they notified the universities that they did not believe that there were going to be, or that they would find any actual explosives on the campuses. But in response to this, the universities and the colleges involved, they did issue alerts to the students, and they advised the students to shelter in place, and they advised the faculty, the staff, and the students that had not arrived or had not or did not live on campus to not come to the campus. And again, the ones who were on campus, they advised them to shelter in place until they could finish the search and make sure that it was safe to continue operations as normal. Now, this was the first day going back to class, either from the holidays and then also from being away due to results from the Omicron variant. So some of the college campuses were already doing virtual learning. However, some of them were not. With that being said, there were students who were inside dormitories, and there were faculty and staff that were there. And we are going to discuss the impact that just the threat had and the ongoing implications of the threat that not only the staff and the children, or the young adults, I would say, are dealing with, but what the PANSOC organization, the Bronze Alert, and our response and how the community can get together and rally behind our young adults. And let me go back for a moment. The media coverage in this is one of the prime reasons why I developed the Bronze Alert. When this initially started, the media coverage was not as vigorous as we would have liked. Our young adults were not satisfied that the messaging was not out there, that their lives were threatened, because that is exactly what happened. At any time that you are threatened with a bomb and your life is endangered, be it real or perceived, I think that is national coverage. And I believe that it should have been handled as such. And I do believe that had this happened at any other university or college, just one university or college, a PWI, let alone 14 HBCUs, that one PWI would have received national coverage. And so as a result of that, and those other issues, the Bronze Alert was developed to make sure that our young adults receive fair and equal coverage in the media, regardless of not only just when things are not cast in a positive light, but especially when our lives are in danger, especially when it comes to our children, especially when our children are at risk and they are separated from their parents and they are put in situations to where and thank God that there was not a real physical threat, but had there been, you have children, young adults who are across the country and miles and hours away from family and people who can actually and physically put their hands on them and who have no resources and no way to actually get to them, to get to the help they need. They practically is tantamount to being in a foreign land or on an island. Sure, they can get around town, but in a moment of crisis, you don't think about those things. You are not prepared. And so to not give this coverage, to not have it as visible as if it happened to Another part of our population is very alarming. And I'm not going to dwell on that. I will just say that those are the reasons that we are here today. That is one of the many reasons that the Bronze Alert was created. And that is one of the reasons why we are here today, to put the messaging out there, to show how we will use the Bronze Alert as well as PANSOC to put measures in place to where things like this happen, that our young adults will not only be prepared, but they will be able to help themselves, and also in working in conjunction with the emergency services that are already available to them at the colleges and universities that they attend, but to be able to, psychologically as well as physically be able to take care of themselves and navigate through situations like this and then come out better on the other end. So, with that being said, I will just say one other thing when it comes to the media coverage. The messaging that is out there. I stated before that the FBI and other outlets have identified six, I believe the number is still six suspects that they call them persons of interest. And they have also categorized them as tech savvy juveniles. And that is concerning to me because I don't find them tech savvy at all. I personally think that they are cowards. You hide behind a phone. You call in the middle of the night. And whoever is behind this had to use a child to do it. I'm not impressed. I'm not afraid. And neither are our young adults who are at these institutions. All you've done is motivated us to protect our history, ourselves, our families, and our futures, more so now than ever. And that is exactly why the Panther organization is here, and that is why the Bronze Alert is here. Because as we always say, our motto is here. We're born to serve. We are born to rescue, and it takes us to save us. And that is exactly why we're here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So the first piece, I have already reached out to several of the HBCUs, Tuskegee University being my alma mater, and reaching out to not only the student government associations, but as well as the faculty and staff. And what we are doing, in a nutshell, and I do understand that we only have a limited time to talk about this, but when you look at the screen, you will see the websites for bronzealert.com as well as pansoc.org. And I encourage you to visit those websites. So at any time, you can visit those websites. Contact us. If you contact one, you've contacted both of them. You can contact for information on how to get involved or how to receive services and how to receive help. And to also get more information on anything that we've discussed today or anything that you have missed. So again, don't be alarmed if you may miss anything. This is an ongoing topic, a fluid topic. So if you need more information, the websites are on the screen. But with that being said, part of what we will be doing is teaching or providing courses on awareness psychology as well as situation awareness. And what that will do will be to teach our youth how to respond in moments of crisis. We will be concentrating on how to teach them or teaching them how to maintain their focus, how to use their mental skills to essentially to pull themselves together, and how to get themselves to safety, and how to navigate through crisis situations. And when they do have to shelter in place, what exactly does that mean, and how to prepare for what that means, and understand that there are things that happens during that process as well as coming out on the other end. Because as we all know, anyone who's ever been in any type of crisis situation, it does not end as soon as the alert is over. There are mental challenges behind that. There's a mental recovery piece behind all of that. And we will be collaborating with local agencies to make sure that our young adults get the counseling that they need. Because you have to keep in mind that despite all of or everything that is going on, our young adults still have to go to school, and they still have to function throughout all of this and all of the unanswered questions and all of everything that they have. And so, when we think about this crisis and everything that has happened, they are not in a situation to where they are still full adults like we are, and we just have to pick up and go on just out of not only sheer motivation, but out of necessity. They are still young adults. And this was I would say a very jarring experience for them. But again, like I said, they are strong and they are resilient, and we are here for them, and we are going to provide every service that we can to rally behind them and to make sure that the Panther organization and that the Bronze Alert Network is providing everything that we can to make sure that we protect our young adults from every threat, be it real or perceived, foreign or domestic. We are here and we have a plan. So, with that being said, I would like to introduce our guest. I would like to introduce my brother who's here, Major Mikael, who is also a part of the PANSOC organization, and he will give you more detail on what we will be doing as far as the Panther Special Operation Command to support our young adults. Also, Commander Venus is here as well. She is also a part of the Panther Special Operation Command. And Brother Cedric is here, also a part of the Panther Special Operation Command. And I will just turn it over to Brother Major Mikael first, and I will just let you have the floor.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this platform with you along with my other comrades here. We take this situation very serious because it is a threat to the people here in America, period. Whether they're black, brown, or whatever color you are, it's a threat to our youth. And whether if it was something that was a joke, or if it was something serious, we have to treat this as though it is a real situation. And again, I want to thank you, Doctor, for allowing us to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Commander Venus.
Sorry, I apologize. I am driving. But thank you for having me, Doctor. And it is a pleasure to be here. I am Venus, State Commander of North Carolina. And anything that I can do or we all can do together to help anything, and I mean anything. As you were talking, I was going to say, if I can also throw you my number, or it is okay for you to give anyone my number that may just even need someone to talk to. Because as you said before, like before, during, and after, it's jarring, and they're going to need to speak with someone. They're going to need to talk with someone. They're going to need mental evaluation, some of them, so they are children and we need to treat them as such, so we're here for them. And thank you again.
You're welcome. I'm glad you brought that up. I did leave that part out. When you go to bronzealert.com, there is a messaging service on there, and you can message us there. You can also call 1-877-57 BRONZ, or the number is 1-877-572-7669. Or you can, like I said, hit the messaging button and you can chat if you do not want to talk. But there are trained professionals, as well as at my practice website, which is www.betterdayscounselingandlifecoaching.com. And we have actually been doing this all week. We have been allowing the students from across the country to call in, because as I stated before, my daughter is at Spelman. So I have been talking to students at Albany State, at Spelman, at Clark, at Fort Valley. I've spoken to a couple of students that actually, excuse me, were not at a college where there was a bomb threat. But again, our motto with the HBCUs, what happens to one happens to us all. So they kind of feel as though they are sitting ducks, I would say. I hate to use that term, but they feel as though that it's just a matter of time, because they feel like our Black youth are being targeted. So with that being said, I'm glad Commander Venus brought that up, because we are here. And if you do need to talk, it does not matter the time of the hour, please reach out. You can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram, and we will find someone. If you are looking for resources in your area, contact us. And if we are not able to do it ourselves, again, we will find someone in your area who you can reach out to. Okay, and we will provide our contact information once the program is over. I will put my information as well as Commander Venus's information, so it will be in one spot for you. So I just wanted to get that out there before I let Brother Cedric have the floor.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, I am really surprised and happy, Doctor, that people are taking this threat serious. This threat, I've been in the movement for 61 years.
Oh, wow.
Started when I was 9 years old. And I'm telling you, these threats are to be taken seriously. The only thing now is that we don't have a home way, and thank you for creating this way, that our kids can be safe when they're away from us, or at least have the idea how to protect themselves and be safe and growing up. You know, now they're adults now, or going towards being an adult. So the responsibility lies responsibility of self. That's what freedom comes with. And in seeing this, I'm glad. I think we should take this very seriously, even though the FBI says, or whoever says that, Homeland Security said the threat was, not so much, nothing, I find that incredible, because every time it comes to our colleges or our children or our brothers and sisters and wife and husband, it always comes to the fact when a Black person is injured, like this, kidnapped or whatever, then they'll look into it. It's not really serious. We'll look down the road. Then they find the bodies. Well, oh yeah, it was real. The mother felt like it was real. Why not take this seriously? So I think that it's good that we are relying on ourselves and our children to come up with a system that they can protect themselves and defend themselves, and also have a place they can go to, have a plan in mind. I think that is excellent. It's beautiful. And I thank you, Doctor, for starting this up and getting this working.
Thank you. I would, if I can add a few specifics, just in speaking with some of the students, there will be a time where I will have some of these students on. The students, there were going to be some on today. Again, they are processing through some things right now. This is new. And again, they are still in the middle of classes. And I don't want to overload them, I would say. We're concentrating on, we're meeting them where they are, I would say. And right now, they need some time to process just the events of the week in private right now before they go public with their stories. So what they've asked right now is just to do what we're doing right now, is to help them on the back end, so that when they are ready to, or when classes resume and that they are in person, that we have things available for them. And one of the concerns, if I could back up just a moment, that something that we really need to think about is that whomever is responsible for this, is that children were used. And it is reminding us and taking us back to a time to where, yes, the bomb threats were at an HBC or at HBCUs, and the target was our youth, but it was not too long ago that our parents or grandparents were facing the same issues. So we now have our elders being re-victimized and re-traumatized and living things all over again, where we still have our elders living who actually witnessed church bombings and school bombings and things of that nature. And now they're, of the mindset, of course they know that racism has not died. But in their eyes, it's not, it's different, I would say. But then to see that our HBCUs are under attack, a lot of the elders that I have spoken with, they see our HBCUs as, or our college campuses, as nurturing safe havens for our children. They are seen as places where our children can go
Time
to where, to escape white supremacy, or where they can go to be amongst others like themselves. Just the history of HBCUs, we know some of them were started by people of no color, still just to promote segregation so we could have our own schools and not be around certain things. And the hate is still seeping in. So we still have generation upon generation upon generation being re-victimized with this whole situation. And with it being done by juveniles, guess what's happening? We're not going to know who did this. Juveniles are protected under the law. So we are not going to get names. We are not going to get pictures. We are not going to know where they live. The information is going to be protected. We are not going to know which direction this threat came from. We are not going to have any information at all. So I want that to sink in for a moment. I want you to think about your life being in danger. I want you to just think about being threatened by anything or anyone and have no idea who it is. But you have to return to that place or to that event or to that circumstance that was threatened. And this wasn't the first time it was threatened. And it's not a far-fetched threat, because we all know that Wilberforce University was burned. That was the first HBCU. And again, we still have church bombings. We still have school bombings. It wasn't too long ago that we have the 16th Street bombing in Birmingham, Alabama. So we also have a young man who actually went into a church full of Black people and opened fire. Is it difficult to get on a college campus? How protected are our children? And we have no idea who to look for, what to look for, where they are coming from, because whomever is behind this, they used children. So this was planned. These are not tech-savvy juveniles. This was done purposely by some cowardly adults who wanted to make sure that they were not caught and who are sacrificing their children for this very cause. Because again, yes, I will say that, yes, the FBI, they are looking at this as a hate crime. And yeah, that's wonderful, as they should. Juveniles are still protected under the law. Let's say they are prosecuted. They'll be out when they turn 21 to do this all over again with more malice, because now they've been locked up for X amount of years, because I don't know how old they are. But you still have their parents who are free, grooming more children to do the exact same thing that has happened right now. But again, that's a different topic for a different day. But still, the fact remains that our children, our young adults, are under attack from a threat that we do not know what exactly this threat is. We do not know who this threat is or where this threat came from, because it was made by juveniles. So we have to be on guard. We have to prepare our young adults for what we do know. Again, our young adults are not afraid. They are concerned, as they should be. But what they are is they are motivated, I will say. I'm thinking about Raymond Johnson. He teaches mass communications at Edward Waters University. He's a professor at Edward Waters in Jacksonville, and I'm sorry, at Edward Waters University in Jacksonville, Florida. And he's also a doctoral candidate there as well. And he was saying how he received the alert early that morning. And he said it felt like a gut punch to him. And okay. And what he said was, it took him back to just thinking about those little girls in the South that had to be escorted into school by the National Guard Armory. And he said what he chose to do was that he went and he put on his Edward State University shirt, and he went to the university when it was safe, when the alarm cleared, and he worked out, because he wanted whoever was watching, just in case they were watching, to let them know who he was and that he stood HBCU strong, and that they were not going to deter him from his day or from his activity. And so he wore his university paraphernalia and he went about his day. And that's where our children are. And that's where we need to meet them. And so, and I'm going to get to you in just a moment, brother Cedric. And so one of the pieces that we've put together is in conjunction with and just, just to put, a period behind some of the sentences to let the community know that we do have actionable plans behind what we're doing. So for example, like with the bronze alert, when we have runways that are going home or who want to go home, or runaways that we have going back to families or to safety. We have collaborated with Uber as well as, not Uber, but Lyft and Greyhound to provide transportation free of charge and that we pay for, to provide transportation for the child and the guardian, because guardians cannot travel unaccompanied, so that's why the transportation is provided for the guardian to come to the juvenile and then transport them home. So with that, we are reaching out to all transportation agencies so that when any kind of disaster happens, and I just don't mean disaster, because I want to also put it out there that PANSOC, not only with PANSOC, it is rescue, and it is rescue across every facet, not just disaster relief, but if you are in harm or in danger, be it domestic violence, be it any circumstance of where you need to be rescued, please reach out to us. But and I'm running out of time, so I hate to, I'm not jumping past things. Again, the websites are up there. Contact us. But I've reached out to transportation agencies so that none of our young adults are displaced. So when things like this happen, even if it's not going to be free, it will be discounted so that we can get our children out of harm's way and get them home. Okay, Brother Cedric, go ahead.
Oh, yes. I'll try to be very brief. When you said the bombing in Birmingham, the 4 girls that died in Birmingham in the basement, I was 12 years old when that happened. The same age as some of those good kids, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how it is for a parent that this is going on. It's got mega Evers. This is going on all over during the 50s and 60s. People are dying and getting killed by the Ku Klux Klan and or just white supremacy just because. In New York, Chicago, anywhere. And for them to try to explain to you that you still have to get up and go out and live your life and do the world, right? Mm-hmm. But how to protect yourself the best way you can, because they ain't with y'all time. And you were raised up to be an adult, responsible for yourself on your own. So you have to go out there and do it anyway, whether they wanted to hold you and crush you. But we understood the reality. I'm right here in Atlanta. When Martin Luther King in 1960 moved over there on Sunset. They were burning crosses all around, and that was a prominent neighborhood back then. They were burning crosses right in his yard, right next to all this black community, affluent black community. They were burning crosses everywhere, and people get dumped down the street, up Hunter Street or Martin Luther King, because that used to be the main street up from down south of Atlanta. And people they dump black bodies on there, probably beat up or whatever. So you get a chance to see this, right? You move on. It don't stop your life, right? It's just another note in your life to try to remember to tell people when you get a certain age, become a great-great-grandpa, which I am. And, but I want people to take this seriously and take this minute to whatever plan somebody comes up with, a decent plan, so the kids know that they can come together, know how to take care of themselves, and know how to form and know how to do all the basic things you have to do. Escape, protect yourself, whatever, go to a place that's safe for you in place. They can arrange their own place in place because that gives them confidence, what they can do. If a child doesn't have the confidence, anything that we do will be rebelled at. Oh, you violate my rights. Oh, my friends. No. When they know they have a way that they can do themselves and they will take their schools, and and the other thing, I remember a story, and this is true. I was in civil rights movement #1 since I was 9 years old. Anyway, there was a man found in a pond. He had about 800-pound chain wrapped around. So the reporter came up to the sheriff and they would drag the man the body. Said, "What do you think about this? This black man got 800 pounds of chain around him. What do you think about this?" Well, the nigga tried to steal more chain he could carry. See, that's the attitude that they have. And I'm working on a case in Savannah where a black boy was shot by a white boy, And in the dark, they were able to, the white boy told them he didn't do it. In 3 hours, they released him. He hadn't been passed since. Then 5 hours later, arrested another guy. They had come out with a guy and put him in jail. He's still in jail now since December 7th. Just right around our neighborhood. A major, I came over there. A kid was in a car, and a car that got flipped by this state trooper in a pit maneuver. And then, the response from the state trooper department, these things could have been 1,000% avoidable if he had honored the state trooper's lawful command and did what he's supposed to do. He chose to run. Hey, you know how many times I heard that when I was a young adult driving to the South? We go back and forth to Chicago during the segregation. Talking about Green Book, you can have a little bit more than Green Book to navigate up through the South, up the North, right? And just saying and hearing this response and this heartless, callous action, that it was so plain and so easily done that you think that nobody gives a care. And just one last thing, a woman that was the most powerful woman I knew in the SNCC and during the political period, that was Fannie Lou Hamer. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to explain to these people, to the black people and the white people, what's going on with our kids, why they out there riding. And she said, they don't believe anything you saying, they ain't listening to y'all. They ain't listening to us. We trying to tell them not to do these things, right? So what they gonna do? They are mad and they gonna crash out. Yeah. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of this thing happening over and over again. And the only way our kids know how to respond is to create turmoil. So we have to understand this. That's why we have a lot of problems in our community. But the main thing is we have to really push and enforce this and understand. I know as a mother and as a father, I know y'all feel, because your child away, you can't hug her, you can't grab her, you can't put a bandage on the knee, whatever. And it's fear, but you have to, that they were born to go out on their own. Most of their life is going to be an adult. They were born to this. So you have to give them the strength and courage, not only for themselves, for the people around them and the children they may have, or their children's children, or their nieces, nephews, they're going to have for generations. My mother and daddy, my mother especially, made sure that we would fight for ourselves and our rights at any given moment when we seen injustice done. As Martin Luther King was after that, he was in that Birmingham where kids 12 to 14 years old was in those pictures you see getting water. 12, 14-year-old kids, the dog biting them. That's what they were. Right down the street in Birmingham. And that should show, he wrote a letter in jail. I said, you shouldn't have done that. He said, injustice one and justice all. I'm summing all up, so I'm going to get to those speech, right? And people they talk about, I have a dream. They don't look at the real things that he was saying. That a man that don't have nothing to die for has nothing to live, shouldn't have to live. Martin Luther King said, not Malcolm X, Lee Shabazz, how'd you not them? But Martin Luther King said that in seeing the violence. He's a non-violent man, but the violence was thrown at them. And then now people try to tell us that one back that don't have the context of things. They try to tell us that, we got to have a non-violent protest. Look here. The violence starts when the officers come up there and tell you not to do what you're supposed to do. You know what we did then? Remember Martin King say, we'll fill up the jails. We'll fill up the jails. We will fill up the jail. We will fill them up and up, the hospital, anything else, until we get what we came here for. That is something that's not imparted today, I believe, that to our children, the people around us, to understand the magnitude of this. The magnitude. One child gets hurt and it's happened. Just one child scratch a finger and get hurt. Do you understand the fear, the real fear that's going to come out? Or one bomb, some little pipe bomb set off? It ain't easy to make a bomb. I don't know why now they just tell them, man, every kid that lives in the farm know how to make a bomb and how to shoot a gun, and make your own pop gun. You know what I mean? And now we're in a situation where that we can't do this, you can't do that. You can't disrespect, you can't say this, that person. Oh, you can't disrespect this person because they're an LGBTQ. You can't disrespect this person because he's white and we ain't racist. Look here, I'm gonna tell you something. Just like everybody said, Malcolm X said in Balance of Buddha in 1963, he said that we as a group of people must come together, whether religion, race, or whatever, or educational level, because we have the same problem, the color of our skin. That's not a problem for you, it's a problem for everybody else. They don't care what you are, how educated, how wealthy you are, how disposed you are, what you can do, or how important you are to the world. When they see that color, that's the first thing they see, and they will blow you away just as they'll blow anybody else away. You know, you might be able to say a couple of elegant words before you go on Facebook, but you're gonna go. You see, so and once we understand that what the real problem is, that we have to be responsible for ourselves, that freedom is responsibility of self. We're responsible for our neighbors and our community. And that, in my time, they said God first, the family second, the community third, and the nation, whatever, is way after that. Because you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't help your neighbor, they don't expect when a wolf comes to your door, you get to holler wolf. You ain't so much to know their name. I know who they are, the kid's name. They gonna look at you like you crazy. You didn't come to me, you know it, and let the wolf devour you. That's the kind of attitude, do my thing. It ain't your business what I do. And that's crazy. Oh, I'm independent. How can a person cannot be independent in a country like this, right? Or you around a group of people. That is sparse. No such thing as independence and stuff like that. Oh, I'm free. I'm free. I don't get, no. Because you're in another group and another group and another group, and you're still the same thing. You're still black. Oh, or you look black. I got Asian descent. White. Look at you, black. And I got a son that's mixed. Half. But his mother was white. She was a woman that happened to be white. Let me put it like this here. A long time ago. We couldn't even marry because it was against the law in Georgia in the 70s that you could not marry a white person. Nobody could marry a white person out of their race without severe penalties, right? So once we understand and look back at things and see the race ride that happened, somebody mentioned Arkansas, over there where the part of Arkansas where the Black Power Association meet in June about every year. I know it's been last couple of years. There was a race in 1919. These people gathered all over the country from New York to Chicago. And East St. Louis was one of the most positive places for blacks in the world. They had the barges, they were doing grain, all that kind of stuff. They came through to Detroit, Chicago, down there to Denver, Colorado, LA, all the black townships from here to there. In one summer, race ride wiped them out. They were pulling people off of buses in Chicago and throwing them in there, beating them and going to people's houses, stealing things. In East St. Louis and Chicago, going to their houses and stealing things. You know what I mean? And this happened all across after World War I. I ain't gonna go to the history, but I'm telling you, these things, when they get moving, they got a life of its own. And some of your best liberal friends say, well, maybe I ought to, they move away from it when the blood starts flying. So, but understand this, right? You have to be responsible for yourself. At the end of the day, we came here by ourselves, we're gonna leave by ourselves at the end of the day. So understand this, your main responsibility is responsibility yourself and install this and give them the pride. Because other than what John Lewis Gates say and Roots and all like that, my kids saw that when they were teenagers. They said, oh, we were slaves. I said, look, let me tell you your family history. Your family history. That's that man's family history or what Hollywood up to give some people some kind of motion. Let me tell you what it did. And you can, in Atlanta, you're born and raised in Atlanta, East St. Louis, Chicago. Well, a black man found in Chicago. A lot of people don't know that. New York, Seneca Village, anywhere you go in this country. And before then, 70,000 years ago, Africans left 200,000 years. They left Africa and they sailed all over the world and they came to North America 70,000 years ago. We were way here before, and the Africans were trading. This evidence, Africans were trading. The continent of Africa was trading with the blacks here in this country. That's who Columbus saw. Everybody saw when they came and explored. Read their letters. And they're going to tell you that, the Native Americans they have now, some of them didn't come over until after the ice melted off the land bridge. That's the truth. And I have black people on me. And then you say like 1619. It's when they brought slaves here. Man, I go right down here. Go to St. Augustine, Florida. 14 to 1500. That's when slaves started in America. Florida's America, ain't it? It started here in America in the 1400s. 100 years before they claimed it did. And the slave they saw in 1619 was on the way to a Spanish colony. They were taken over by 2 British pirate ships and right up there to the coast to that British subdivision. So I don't understand why we eliminate our history. We don't want to hear our history. We don't see the pride of our history. I do history tours in Atlanta. I said, in spite of everything that y'all seen it happen, we did these things anyway. We wanted us to be better, live better, or give better than you could get if you're allowed to go in the white community. We don't have that now. Everybody got excuses. They fear. and they hard. They know they feel they're going to jail. Oh, I can't. Oh, my career. Hey, you wouldn't have a career if the same people had felt that way before you and after you. My parents felt that way. Their parents felt that way. I am a Georgia native. I go back to 1838. My great-great-great-grandfather, my great-great-grandmother born in 1840 in Queens County, Georgia. That's how to make it. My granddaddy was born in 1858, just outside, Madison, Georgia, Oconee. Right there, same place as Martin Luther King grandfather on his mother's side, A.D. Wing was born, right in 1858. I'm going to tell you, we are all connected. If you really look at what we did and what was denied us, then you would have another feeling like Booker T. Washington was kind of slave to you, like Marcus Garvey, and all people. And Alonzo Herndon, one of the richest black men in the land, born in slavery, down in Social Circuit, Georgia. They will tell you this. Like the first black combat pilot, and please don't, I'm talking about World War I, not World War II. His name was Jacques Ballard. He was born down in Savannah, Georgia, well decorated in France, right, for being on the combat line with the French Foreign Legion, and also flying a plane before they brought Americans came with the escadrille. When Americans came, they couldn't stand that. They had to kick them out. What I'm saying to you is what we have done in this century, in this country, is more powerful, just as powerful as done over Africa 5,000 years ago. I mean, in my lifetime, you went down Auburn Avenue. People come out down here. They were swelling pride. They say black people. They own a building. They own a business. They own all this. They own this whole neighborhood. They own this land. You know, look at the college they built. Morris Brown was the only college named after black men, was built by black men and black money from his church that they tore down so they could put that damn Mercedes-Benz Stadium there. And I'm incensed because we don't respect ourselves. Now, they don't do it for Margaret Mitchell's house. Who the hell is Margaret Mitchell? You know, they don't respect. They respect everybody that talks. They don't respect nobody that actually did the work and bled for it. You know, and you go hundreds, it's like hundreds of unknown people. You know, I knew Fred Sharp. I knew Martin Luther King. I went to SLC before he died. I was 16, 17 years old, and I watched in the funeral procession. And I had an understanding what they were talking about, what he was about. And it wasn't about like everybody said, all these beautiful speeches they be talking about, like the March on Washington, which he wanted to control that. Kennedy put them and a couple other people in that to try to mill it out. But them people wanted money, they wanted jobs. But when he died, he was fighting for economics for black people, jobs and money for black people. So that is a reality. Like, we don't have that reality. We want to hear rap singers sing about some girl or some guy, what they gonna do for him, what they gonna do to him at the end of the night. We don't have nobody saying, look, stand up, go, walk, build, you know, make your people proud, build for that. We don't have that kind of conversation no more, but we need it because
well, you know,
unity.
Brother Charles, we do. You know, and that's what we have at our HBCUs right now, you know, and that's why it is so important, you know, not only at our HBCUs, you know, we have that in our youth across the nation, because we do recognize that, you know, college is not for everyone, but we have other youth that are out there who are actually doing the work. And you know, we are asking the community to join in with us, just as you did with everything that you spoke about. You got involved in this at a very young age. And, you know, it's because of you that we have you here and the things that you have accomplished that we are hoping that, you know, with this platform that it will get others who are listening galvanized to just chime in and to help us, you know, help ourselves and help our youth, and to get involved in the communities and do everything that we can to prepare ourselves. You know, you spoke about being independent and us being interdependent, and those things go hand in hand, because you were exactly right. You know, and that's where the awareness, you know, psychology piece comes in. You know, we will be teaching how to, you know, prepare yourself as an individual so that you can work collectively to get through those, you know, those times when you have those, you know, alerts and things go off on campus, or again, those personal issues. Because as I said before, the Panther Special Operation Command is an all and a broad rescue mission, not just disaster relief, but we also deal in domestic violence and other issues that happen within our community. So we're running out of time. I want to thank everyone, our panel, Major Mikael, Commander Venus. Again, thank you so much. Brother Cedric, I am so thankful that you joined in on the conversation today. We will definitely be visiting this conversation again. The websites, www.bronzealert.com, www.pansoc.org. Please get involved. You can also donate if you have any resources that you want to donate to the organization or to help out our youth across the country at these HBCUs. Please let us know. You can also donate to kuaw.org, who is the venue for this platform, so we can get the message out to the community. And I would just say thank you for tuning in to us today, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Blessing.